All right, let's turn it to the Cavs. They got the Dallas Mavericks tonight. It's the last of their West Coast road trip. These are usually killers for any team.
Yeah.
3-0.
They have a chance to go perfect 4-0
Yeah.
if they beat a Dallas team tonight that I believe. Is Luka officially out?
Yeah.
He's
out for another 2 weeks with
Okay.
the calf injury.
Jay, let me hit you with a stat that we brought up yesterday, kind of
Yeah.
randomly. I don't know that we ever confirmed this is the case, but I think it is. And I want to see if you think it's going to happen.
Okay.
The Cavs, I believe, even if they're not the first team to ever do that, maybe there's been one or two others, but as far as I can think of, and we looked up a few yesterday,
Yeah.
the Cavs may have a chance to be the first team ever to have less losses than the football team in its city in the same year.
Oh, my God.
So the Browns, we assume, are going to finish 3-14. Now, the Golden State Warriors, who lost 9, the Raiders that year also lost 9, so it was a tie. The 85 Bears.
God, 9 losses.
The 85, not the 85 Bears.
95 Bulls.
The 95 Bulls, actually, even though they only lost 10, the Bears that year lost less than 10.
Oh, my God.
So the Cavs, or the Browns are going to lose 14, we'll assume. So the question is, can the Cavs lose 13 or less, which means they have to win 69 games?
There was never a year when the Patriots were really bad in the 70s and the Celtics were really good.
We got to double check a couple of those.
We didn't cross
There were
every
some-
good team off the list.
There were
but-
some, and that was the 16-game era, too.
Right.
But there were some years where the Patriots were pretty abysmal.
So they're-
and the
they're
Celtics
made-
were
we didn't
dominant.
check
But you know
everyone.
what? Bull, I don't remember this notion of like 10 losses, 12 losses.
Yeah.
There's only been a handful of those
Exactly.
ever in the NBA.
The Cavs, Mike put the stat yesterday. The Cavs at this point have the 4th best record in the history of the NBA, behind only the Bulls, the Warriors, and a Celtics team from like 20 years ago. Was it?
the Celtics from 07-08 when they beat the Lakers in the championship.
Through 34 games.
At the turn of the calendar.
Turn of the calendar.
okay.
So
Fourth
maybe it's not
highest win percentage.
Yeah. They have the 4th highest winning percentage.
Yeah.
I wonder what were the Warriors?
31-2.
Oh my God!
And
I
the
think
Bulls,
I'd forgotten.
Yeah.
The Bulls that year were 30-3, so one game ahead of the pace.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
the Cavs are on a 72 win pace right now.
What's amazing is I
My
believe
God.
Oklahoma City's also on pace to win 70.
Yeah, they're 27-5.
So you have 2 teams that are on pace to win 70 or more games.
Well,
this year.
we laughed about this, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say what's going to happen in the playoffs. But
Yeah.
right now, it looks like there's a collision course between 2 mid to small market.
Oh, I hope so.
I mean, 1 small market,
Yeah.
1 mid market.
Yeah.
In the NBA. Finals.
So I'm asking you: will the Cavs lose 13 or less games? In other words, will they win 69 or more?
I'm going to say that they will lose more than 14 games. Only because every team hits it. Even the Warriors, in their year when they set the record, there was a stretch where I think they lost 3 of 6 or something like
They
that.
lost 3 of 8, and it felt like the
3
world
of
was
8.
collapsing.
It did. It felt like, the wheels have fallen off.
Yeah.
The Cavs are going to hit something like that, but geez,
Yeah.
that's a great question because at this pace,
They're on pace.
They're on
to
pace
have
to do it.
pace
Yeah.
to lose 10 games.
Yeah.
So we talked about this yesterday, Bull, and
Yeah.
I spent way too much time kind of thinking about that question yesterday.
Yeah.
And I came to this conclusion. It feels like when the Cavs lose a game right now, it's an accident. Something went terribly wrong to where the Cavs didn't play up to the standard or the team they're playing played out of their mind.
Yeah,
And sometimes it's
yeah.
just going to happen. And when they beat the Lakers on Christmas Eve, J.J. Redick in his post-game press conference, and I went back to listen to it to make sure I heard the context properly, said, you have to play a perfect game to beat this Cavaliers team. And if J.J. Redick, who coaches a solid enough West Conference team, right? They're not great. They're not the Thunder.
they're a good team, though.
But
They've been playing better.
They
of late.
have.
Yeah.
They have 2 Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
If he's going to come out there and say, you have to play perfect to beat this Cavs team.
Yeah,
and then
that's
you have the
saying something.
Warriors, who when they came here, all said, this reminds me a lot of when we were coming up. And
Yeah.
you had
Yeah.
the Draymond comments, and Jason wrote the great article
With their
on that.
ball movement.
And then they played him again the night before, and Draymond once again said, what are you supposed to do with these guys?
Yeah.
It has gotten to the point, and they're not going to win ever. They're going to lose a few games. It happens. It's
Sure.
basketball. It has gotten to the point where they're playing such good basketball across all phases. They're top 10 in offense. They're number 1 in offense. They're top 10 in defense. They're number 2 in net rating. They're the best three-point shooting team in basketball. They're the only team in the league shooting over 40% of the team from 3. They lead the NBA in field goal percentage. Their clutch time numbers through the roof. There's not a single error you look at and say, that's a legitimate weakness. We have reached a level with this Cavs team where if they're going to lose a game, 9 out of 10 times it feels like, oh my God.
Yeah,
That was an accident. That's how good they're playing right now.
You think the Atlanta Hawks are in their locker room saying, "What's the big deal about
Yeah,
this team?"
I think they are. You know, they're 2-0 against the Cavs.
And they've beaten Boston.
Yeah.
And they beat, I believe,
That's more matchup related, right?
Yeah, I don't.
Or is it effort where they're
Both.
not giving the effort on most
I don't
nights,
know.
but they're jazzed to play the Cavs and the Celtics.
when they're on and they're making threes,
Yeah.
because they're a very
they're-
streaky three-point shooting team.
But when they're hitting,
when they're
tough.
hitting, they're extremely, because they're so long defensively.
The Cavs are undefeated when leading to start the fourth quarter.
They also have, I saw this stat. Ready for another great stat?
Yeah.
Cavs have 21 double-digit wins this year.
Jeez.
If you counted everything that wasn't a double-digit win as a loss, they'd be in third place in the Eastern Conference.
They've not scored under 100 the whole season. They have, here's another one, and I double-checked this yesterday. The Cavs have played, 33 games? Is that
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Pulling up a stat for you guys real quick.
The Cavs,
34, aren't they 30-4?
No,
If they
29.
win tonight, they'll
29-4.
be 30 and
Okay,
4.
So the Cavs, in 27 of their 33 games, have scored 114 or more points.
Wow.
In 27 of 33. 19 of the other 29 NBA teams are averaging less than 114.
Yeah.
So that's just, the Cavs have scored almost every game more than two-thirds of the league is averaging, which is just mind-blowing.
Here's another weird one with the Cavs and the Browns. Or I'll go Guardians and Browns. How many teams or cities, I wonder, had a baseball team that won more playoff games in one series than the football team won in the entire season? The Guardians.
Well, they beat the Tigers 3 times.
Yeah. So, they had
this was
as
tight.
many.
Right.
And then, obviously, they beat the Yankees, too.
Yeah.
We asked
So
that question.
They had
We
more
did that.
playoff wins than the Browns had regular season wins.
Yeah.
Couple more stats on the Cavs real quick. And shout out to Jackson Flickinger of the Fear the Sword who helped me compile some of these. They have an 11.6 net rating, number 1 in basketball. It's the exact same net rating through 33 games as that Warriors team in 2016.
Oh, wow,
that
that's
won
interesting.
73 games. We talked about the double-digit wins already. Their clutch time numbers, incredible. They have the best net rating in the NBA in clutch time. They have the number 1 offensive rating in clutch time, the number 4 defensive rating in clutch time, which the NBA categorizes as a 5-point game in the final 5 minutes of the game. So if it becomes 6-point, that possession is not considered a clutch possession. It only tracks possessions that are within the 5-point margin. They have the best offensive rating in the league. They're the best 3-point shooting team in the league, and it's the best team 3-point percentage since the 2020-2021 Los Angeles Clippers.
Wow.
So not just best this season,
Okay,
highest
let
efficiency
me
in
ask
the
a
last
question to
couple
wrap
seasons.
this topic
and,
up.
And last thing on this real quick, they've hit 18 threes in 7 consecutive games. 18 or more threes as a team. They had 13 games all of last season when they hit 18 or more threes.
So what I was going to ask you is, this is a roster that was run back.
Mm-hmm.
How? How do you explain this? This was a team that lost its first-round playoff series 2 years ago.
Yep.
Won a first-round series barely last year, and then was bounced in the second round. And now you're talking about not just great this year, we're talking all-time
Historically
greatness.
great, yeah.
How? Is it simply Kenny Atkinson, who, by the way, was the coach of the month for the second straight month?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about that in a little bit, too,
Yes.
with some of that. The coaching certainly helps. Atkinson has hit every button properly this year.
Okay.
He has not missed a single thing when it comes to his substitution patterns, the confidence he's instilling in guys, the ability to make certain lineups work together that last year weren't working nearly as well as they have this season. It also falls on the players. Mobley's taken that step. Now, you can say that's partly Atkinson instilling the confidence in him to take and make some of the shots.
just
that
demanding more
He had
from
it demanding more. Mobley's also 22, 23 years old. He's still developing into the man and the player that he's going to be long term. Darius has found his shooting rhythm again. He's not dealing with all the injuries that led to some of the downfalls last season.
And they've just been healthy.
They've been healthy. They're
Yeah.
making shots. And I think most importantly, they're all sacrificing for the betterment of the team. It's really hard to give away shots and pass up a good shot for a great shot if you don't think you're going to get the ball back in that same opportunity next time. And the way they're playing and their assist rate, their assist to turnover ratio, the extra pass rate, all the advanced metrics show that the Cavs are making that extra pass every time. And when you're willing to do that consistently, you're impossible to defend if you're going to hit 40% of your threes.
Yeah, you're right.
Literally impossible.
You got to think, I'm
perfect
sure there's
formula.
a stat for this, that the quality of their shots
It's up.
is
Way
got
up
to
this
be
year.
way
Way
up
up
from
this year.
last
Yeah.
year.
And isn't that because they're making the extra pass and
Right.
guys are just
Right.
they're taking open shots?
when you're unselfish and making more passes, I mean, the Cavs feel like the most. I mean, I don't watch Oklahoma City play any kind of regular basis, but they feel like the most unselfish team in the NBA.
They're up there for sure.
And that's a big part.
That
of
would
it.
be what, passes per possession, or how would you measure that?
I prefer pass possession is not great because you could do 17 passes just to set up the action you want to get an ISO. I like the driving kick rate, which I'd have to pull up the exact numbers, but the Cavs, when I last checked, it's probably a week and a half ago for the Ultimate Cavs show, them and OKC, to no one's surprise, two best teams in the league, had the highest driving kick rate in the league.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's
been a perfect formula.
It's been health. Obviously, health is a big thing.
Yeah.
None of their stars have been hurt. Obviously,
on wood.
Max Strus missed a lot of time, and Okoro's missed some time, and a
Right.
few other guys have missed games here and there. But they've been as healthy as you can be. And, a couple of small tweaks to the roster. Ty Jerome, who missed all of last season,
Right.
has been a factor. And even
all of those have been huge.
Yeah.
Jalen Tyson.
Jalen Tyson's
He's
giving them some good
contributed.
minutes here,
Yeah.
and it's. I mean, I went from not giving a rat's ass about the regular season to being locked into pretty much every game.
2 years ago you
Yeah.
said that, and then
Yeah.
last year you said, I'm really done with the
Yeah.
regular season now.
And now I'm locked into every
Now
game.
and the fans are. The ratings are through the roof.
Could you imagine last year if I told you, hey, a Wednesday night Cavs Thunder game is going to have Bull glued to his TV?
I wouldn't have believed it.
And I love that they're playing the Thunder a couple of games here. It's disappointing that Luka's not playing, but still Kyrie. I mean, I want to see these exciting matchups, and they're on national TV a lot in the next
Coming up. Yep.
Couple of months.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Both the
Fans want to see them.
Both the Thunder games nationally televised, and we're trying to get some of the people calling that game to come.
Yeah, I
preview us.
reached out. I haven't heard back from. I have to reach out again today to see if
We hit up the ESPN PR people too.
Yeah,
see if
and
they can help us.
nothing from them.
Steve's got an answer I haven't heard yet. but
Okay.
We're working on getting in some big time guests for a big time game that deserves some big time coverage.
It would be fun for sure.